next priority on our agenda is the integration into business transformation management. You know that business transformation has 4 ingredients. You need an enterprise architecture and a strategy. You need to transform processes. You need to change your software solution, and you need to also take your people along. And for that, we have LeanIX, Signavio, Cloud ALM, and then going forward, WalkMe today, still enable now. And we would like to give you more insight in the integration scenarios to those neighbor disciplines from Cloud ALM. For that, we'll have another 2 top talents coming on stage. So please help me in welcoming Frank Kühn, our Chief Product Owner, or a Product Owner for integrations into the business transformation management, and then Kostub Vaikar, he's heading EMEA landscape transformation. So now you will see how exactly the integration into LeanIX and Signavio will work.
Thanks, Mark. And welcome from my side here in the room, upstairs, and also the people remote watching us live. As Mark mentioned, he talked shortly about these 4 key dimensions which are really relevant for successful transformation, which is about processes, people, application, and data topic, which we did not cover that much so far. And these dimensions, they guide you through your transformation from strategy to execution. And this is the point then where the transformation, the transformation management from SAP comes in. Because it's about having the right solutions, connecting across these dimensions. Now, let's have a look to the... Sometimes it's hanging, was also yesterday. Let's have a look to the transformation tool chain that we have. And we have here, for enterprise architecture, we have LeanIX, and I made a frame around our infinity loop of this business transformation, because it's all over the phases. In every phase, you also deal with enterprise architecture. Then we have Signavio for the process management part. We have Enable now for the people part. Recently, we announced that we acquire WalkMe, so this is the latest kit in the whole tool chain, but there we are just at the beginning on discussions how we go there forward with integration. And then for the applications, as you know, you are the ALM Summit, we have SAP Cloud ALM, and there for the test automation, we are partnering up with Tricentis. And I want to guide you shortly through where we are in regards of integration in the different areas, starting with the enterprise architecture. So LeanIX, we acquired end of last year, so it's also quite new in the SAP family. And when we started there, the landscape discovery they did, or the landscape maintenance in the tooling, was pure manual. Also reflected in their pricing model, that you don't pay per users on the system, but more per objects within the system. And as they are now part of the SAP family, it was native that the questions coming up, well, why can't they do automatic landscape discovery? So this is really the first thing we focused on in an integration, really helping the LeanIX colleagues to provide the automated landscape discovery. And in Cloud ALM, we know the landscape a customer has. So first of all, and this is the first integration we did, we know which cloud service a customer has. And we provide that information, and also on-prem systems, but we provide this information to the LeanIX colleagues. They prepare this data or model it according to their best practices, how to fit into fact sheets, how to do the relations in between, and then they bring that up in a so-called discovery inbox. Reason for that, think about the licensing. You don't want to push everything that we find directly into the system. And this integration we have live since around mid of the year, shortly after Sapphire. This was the first use case that went live with this integration. That's not all. We are already working on the next step, which is about interface discovery. Also there, great interest from customers getting help in identifying the interfaces between the systems. And there we are utilizing on our side, on Cloud ALM side, the integration monitoring part, where we know which systems talk to each other, where are messages flowing through the system. So we will take that information, provide that to the LeanIX colleagues, and they will utilize this information to make the interface discovery maybe not fully automated, but at least having good hints on where you have interfaces in your landscape. So that's really something on the roadmap coming end of the year, beginning of next year. Good. And then also on vision, we have other things from the operations area. Think about, wouldn't it be nice to know also fact-based data from your systems when you do exercises like application rationalization on LeanIX side, where you basically take or you rate systems based on technical fit versus functional fit, having really data points on, well, there are systems which often have some downtimes, outages, getting this information in. That's something we have at least on vision for the future. Well, that's the integration more into the operations world of Cloud ALM. In addition, we also built an integration with the project management part of Cloud ALM. Well, think about a bigger transformation. So there you create basically an initiative in LeanIX, break that down a little bit in further structured projects, and then we have the possibility to create out of these fact sheets directly Cloud ALM projects, or you can link existing Cloud ALM projects. And when you get this linkage, then we provide in LeanIX all the time boxes that we have in our project and also the current status of the project that is then always updated on LeanIX side, that you have really the transparency over your transformation project. Also, this part is already live since mid of the year. You can use that already. And also here on Vision, we have further things to provide them information, for example, about deployment landscapes that we know for projects. This gives you then insights on certain projects potentially impact these systems in your deployment landscape. So this is also on the roadmap to provide that in the future. Well, that's it about LeanIX and the enterprise architecture part. So now let's have a look to the people. For people, we have Enable Now. As said also by Mark, we have WalkMe acquired. Currently, we have this Enable Now integration already usable today. I forgot to click once again. And this is also really helpful for those people who need to create enablement content, because they can connect against Cloud ALM, get there from a specific project, the structure, and also then the process documentation, synchronize that over into Enable Now, and then in Enable Now, you create your enablement content, link that back into the structure, and finally you synchronize it also back into Cloud ALM, that you get their documents assigned to the processes with the reference to the enablement content. So this is already usable today, and more to come potentially then with the WalkMe part. Good, and then if the clicker is working, the last part I want to explain you is about processes. Well, processes, think about, we have Signavio, yes, and last ALM Summit, we had only the opportunity to show you a consulting solution of integration. For those customers who, well, urgently needed some automation, who could not live, I always call it biomechanical interface of downloading and uploading diagrams, even it was SVG at the very beginning. So I'm really happy, and then we put together our heads with the Signavios and teamed up meanwhile, that I'm happy to say that in Q4 we will ship basically the first productized version of integration. And with this first productized version, and this video is real, this is really on the dev system of the Signavio guys, so it's really working. You can, out of the Signavio UI, well, trigger the synchronization over, that you get the BPMN into Cloud ALM. You can also do updates on Cloud ALM side of the BPMN. And then we have a clear ownership that, well, diagrams belong to Signavio. So we only have a read-only mode. If you want to modify, you jump back. And this is just a starting point. So we will, over the next quarters in iterations, further develop this integration until we reach really a deep integration. And what I mean with that is, well, we have always this thinking of a persona needs to be able to work in their native environment. And this means, think about a fit to standard workshop. This, in case Signavio is in place, will happen on Signavio side, because Signavio is the business process management tool. But in such a fit to standard workshop, there is also then the need to create requirements for your processes. And there we build the integration that you can create the requirements directly from the Signavio UI, but it's persisted then on Cloud ALM side. Because later on, when you think then about another role, the architect, who breaks down requirements into user stories and features, this is then done, native environment for them on Cloud ALM side. So this is the way we design this integration. And it's more than just that, what I explained. It's also about that we get the hierarchy over from the process structure in Signavio to Cloud ALM, the libraries that we build, we need to get an exchange. And also not to forget the best practice part, that if you start in Signavio with best practice, we need to get this reference information over to Cloud ALM, that in Cloud ALM we can then assign again this accelerator content from best practice to the processes also in Cloud ALM. So this is the way forward we are going here. Well said that. That's it for the process part, and I would hand back to Mark.
Thank you, Frank. So finally, Signavio integration coming up. And for us, it was really important that we do the integration right. So you might know from the Solman times, we had always BPM to ALM integration. But oftentimes, the structures were deviating over time, and it was very difficult to set up a structure so that really BPM and ALM is in sync. And you have seen with the previous presentation that it is a kind of a governance struggle. What we really do here is we align between Signavio and LeanIX, the data object process. Yeah? So we clearly define what are the fields, who's owning what, left, right. And that gives us really the opportunity to say, if I store something in Signavio, it's real-time also stored in Cloud ALM, and we can basically jump from Cloud ALM back into Signavio, do an update, and then basically it's again stored in Cloud ALM in Signavio synchronously. So that's not like a CRM middleware or APOS SIF type of integration where you need to have a whole team of following up on integration. No, it's a real-time productized integration where basically the data storage is aligned between both companies, between both products. Cool. Frank mentioned that one of the 4 dimensions in transformation we always neglect a little bit, and that's data. Data is a little bit the forgotten child. And while data is a big topic, we want to explicitly focus today on data migration. And why is that? You might have heard that we have, in 2024, shipped a capability on Cloud ALM called Lean Selective Data Transition. And the question that we get always asked, now that this is available on Cloud ALM, how does this fit into the bigger picture of data migration? And I'm very happy that I could win Kostu Vaikar, the head of EMEA Landscape Transformation Services at SAP, to explain the bigger picture of data migration, but also explain how, for example, DMLT tools from our services relate and build up on each other with lean selective data transfer. So, up to the task. Yeah. Can you do it on a napkin? Data migration on a napkin? Give it a try.
Great. Hello, everybody. My name is Kostu Vaikar. As Mark introduced, my role is I head the data management landscape transformation services for EMEA region. I also head the customer engagement activities for professional services organization for data management landscape transformation. So Mark really has a wish here that SAP should be able to explain in a very clear and concise fashion to all our customers and users on what are the data migration options they have while moving from ECC to S/4HANA. Let's take this as a very specific case. And the idea here is to really give you a holistic perspective, starting with what are the key dimensions that any customer who starts their transition journey from ECC to S/4HANA on a private cloud edition on RISE environment, what are the key aspects any customer should look into, what are the transition scenarios they should look into, and then based on these transition scenarios, what are the data dimension aspects that are available. We would then also talk about what are the SAP standard capabilities that we have. Mark briefly mentioned about Lean SDT and complementary service offerings from data management landscape transformation services. So let's start with the transition scenarios to start with. We are taking the case of an ECC, SAP ECC system as an example. So you as a customer who are on SAP ECC system and are required to transition to S/4HANA, you typically come across 3 transition scenarios. The first one on the left-hand side we see is as a brownfield or a system conversion scenario. A brownfield conversion is pretty much you take your existing ECC system and do a system conversion to S/4HANA. And when you do this, entire data set that you have in the system automatically gets converted into your S/4HANA system. So considering the typical speed of transition, when you look at doing a system conversion, this is typically perceived high because you take everything in your system. You obviously have to focus on the checks offered by the SUM tool and finance conversion activities. Obviously, there are some pre-projects required, but the transition is perceived high. You do not have to take a lot of business decisions on what transformations you need, what processes you want to keep, what process you want to leave, because you're taking everything as it is. So the business involvement is considered low, and the time of transition is perceived very high. If you look at the other side, completely on the right-hand side, we have greenfield implementation, or also called as a new implementation scenario. This is typically chosen by our customers when they really think that your existing processes, configuration, and data have become outdated over a period of time, and we would really like to start from scratch. A lot of customers like to call it back to standard, really leverage all the standard configuration and capabilities which SAP offers to leverage automation, innovation capabilities, and process transformations. So this is the complete right-hand side of the picture. In this case, obviously, you have to take a lot of business decisions. Start with your processes, what processes you would like to use, what processes you would like to change. Are you changing everything? So there is a lot of business involvement required. And this basically takes time for your transition. And in this case, we perceive the time to transition as typically quite high, and the speed to transition is considered low. Then there are other aspects that we could typically consider as a customer in terms of clean core adoption. SAP is really pushing our customers to go to S/4HANA on RISE with clean core so that you can really have less liability in terms of your custom code, your extensions and activities, and you can be more flexible to really adopt clean core and go for transformations, innovations faster. So in considering these aspects, clean core on system conversion is pretty much low because you take everything. New implementation is high. What we have in the middle is we have a hybrid scenario called as selective data transition. And why we are trying to introduce this scenario here is obviously customers have been using system conversion as a scenario, leveraging standard SUM tools that we have. And with the SUM tools, you can, as a customer, use or leverage a partner to do a system conversion. Same is the case with new implementation scenarios. You hire an SI, really do your fit gap analysis, start your processes, and completely redesign and do a greenfield implementation. There's another transition scenario called as selective data transition, where you don't have to take everything that you have in ECC. At the same time, you do not have to leave everything behind. So that's what I said, it's called a mix or a hybrid scenario. The selective data transition as a scenario comes in 2 flavors. The first one is called a shell conversion scenario. In the shell conversion scenario, the idea is you basically start with a footprint of your existing processes and configuration as a starting point, but you do have a possibility to change some processes while keeping existing processes that you would like to continue. Common examples are supply chain, manufacturing processes, automation processes. These are assets considered by a lot of our customers, and they would like to continue using those assets going forward. but there could be processes they would like to change, like finance or processes, really redesigning their finance enterprise structures, like controlling area, chart of accounts, company codes. So there is a possibility that you could keep some of your logistics processes and redesign some of your processes. This is what is possible with selective data transition. The second flavor of selective data transition is mix and match, where you predominantly bring in new processes, but you cherry pick some of the existing processes from your ECC system and continue. Common examples are plant maintenance data, production planning processes. A lot of customers like to carry on with their existing PMPP processes, change most of the other processes. So in such cases, a mix and match scenario, the one on the right, is more suitable for our customers. We have other dimensions here, level of process transformations, what are possible in case of a system conversion, new implementation, versus the mix and match and shell creation options. So obviously the process transformations are highest with new implementation scenario. You could really do moderate to high process transformations between the SDT approach, and process transformations are a bit low in system conversion because you're taking existing processes as it is and only going for mandatory simplifications. One important aspect to consider here is the scope of data migration. And this is a starting point when we really talk about data migration options. When you really consider system conversion, you take everything from ECC to S4. New implementation on the right, you only bring in master data and open items. So if you really want to bring in some history, some active master data, then you do have possibility with selective data transition as well to selectively bring in historical data, selectively bring in application data, master data, and configuration into your target environment. Rollout scenarios, this is again an important aspect for our customers to decide whether you should go for a complete big bang, where you take all your businesses across all your regions and go for a complete one big bang go live, or you roll out in phases based on companies and countries. So with selective data transition and new implementation, you do have possibility to go for both options. With system conversion, you only have a possibility to do a big bang. The last scenario here we have is source systems. So the source systems, in case of brownfield or SDT, has to be an SAP ECC environment. In case of a new implementation scenario, you could basically also start from a non-SAP legacy system to start with. So these are some of our key dimensions and the aspects that are really important to consider when we talk about data in the context of processes, configuration, application data, transaction data, and history. Now, in the context of selective data transition, which was the middle picture that we had, SAP now offers, starting this year, a standard offering called LeanSDT, which is available for free for all our customers on Cloud ALM. This allows you to selectively migrate data from ECC to S4HANA. And this is really an important aspect here to consider, that in the past, SAP only had system conversion as a standard offering to our customers, new implementation as a standard offering to our customers, but now SAP is also offering capabilities in the selective data transition space with the LeanSDT solution. The current LeanSDT solution comes up with a complete guided procedure, which allows you to ensure you have lower total cost of implementation aspects. At the same time, it's a foolproof approach for migrating data selectively from ECC to S4. The current scope offerings with LeanSDT are, you do a full data migration considered, we call it as a client transfer. You could select data based on active company codes and only migrate data for active company codes. By end of the year, we are also expecting time-based data reduction. You would bring in data from time slice into the target environment, and there would be future transformation capabilities that will be brought. Additionally, we have our professional services from the DMLT organization, which pretty much cater to all possible system consolidation, data migration, harmonization requests, and this has been there in the market for the last 20 years. One important announcement here to make is the DMLT, or a professional services organization, is collaborating with the LeanSDT and Cloud ALM to accelerate the capabilities that could be brought in into the standard LeanSDT so that this could be leveraged more and more coming ahead in future. What we have on this slide here is pretty much a list of all standard capabilities that SAP has, mapping it to the transition scenarios that we spoke about. So this has listed down into different dimensions for data management processes, from data quality inspection, data extraction, cleansing, transformation, verification, governance, and all the way to system decommissioning. So these are the list of all standard capabilities SAP has, which you can use today for any of these scenarios. What we have in this slide is a complete combination of standard offerings plus professional services offering as a combination, which SAP offers as a whole, considering all scenarios for all three transition options for S/4HANA. With this, I would like to hand it over back to you with an attempt to try to put this migration options on a napkin.
Was it successful on a napkin?
Thank you.
The napkin's actually called grill time, but I think your grill time is over. So thanks for giving this perspective. I think it was important for me that you really understand how Lean SDT fits into the larger picture of all these tools. It's pretty much of a tool zoo. We have added all the links here, and there are different options how to do all of that. And perhaps it helps in really understanding a little bit better the different tool options in these different use cases. Cool. So let me sum it up overall. So we heard a lot of requirements from you guys, and we basically covered them in the keynotes so far. Yeah? So we would basically claim that all our promises were delivered. So the promises actually were many, yeah. So Cloud ALM is in mass adoption. We have partners integrating into the delivery tool chain. We have a standard delivery platform for partners. We have cloud-centric customers that we support. Landscape transfer, roadmap for advanced charm and focus build, a vision for the solution lifecycle, regulated environments is now available. We have initial data centers now available and additional tenants available. We have a support for SAP, SaaS, PaaS, and ABAP on-prem. We have openness for non-SAP. We have outbound and open telemetry integration, navigation from central to local, automatic connectivity, classic AI use cases, and the first-gen AI use cases available. We have a vibrant ecosystem of partners. We have ITSM integration into SAP support backbone. Signavio enable now LeanIX and data migration solutions integrating Cloud ALM. We have Lean SDT available. We have solution transformation consultant as an official certification by SAP. I should apply for Dieter Thomas Heck at Hitparade for those who still remember that. But the best is still to come, and that is basically our fourth aspect of our priority, our specific new support for RISE with SAP. And for that, I would like to welcome on stage my co-head and the head of the RISE Delivery Initiative, Dr. Wieland Schreiner.
Before I do so, I hand over the laptop to my partner, which is, I don't want to steal it from you, okay? After your great presentation. But before we go here, I think after at least this last slide, I have to say a big thank you to, and I think also a big applause to my co-head, Mark, who runs all this show here, runs all the solutions and solutioning, and has given a great presentation. Again, a big applause to Mark. We have seen a lot of details, a lot of topics which we do in Cloud ALM, which we do with respect then also to our solutions in Grow, RISE, with all the other solutions, with Ariba, with everything what we do on operation side. And what I would like to use now the coming minutes is to put that a little bit together on a broader perspective. Why do we do that all? And why do we have a RISE customer delivery initiative at SAP to really deliver value to our customers? Before I go there, let me start with a little bit of history. When we implemented, and most of us did that on-premise solutions, I think we all had the challenge to make it live and to get it live and done. And then there was a mantra out of the 90s, which was always saying, never change a running machine. Wasn't it? Don't touch it, then it works. Yeah, I see a lot of nodding. And that's the on-premise thinking. That is what is the past. Why? If you look today to SAP Cloud ALM, we do the extreme opposite. We deploy daily, every morning, also today. We deploy every day into 6 data centers, 2 canary landscapes in SAP internally, to more than 7,000 customers, to more precise, 7,162. Yes, it's another number than in the morning, naturally. More customers adopted, thank you. So what is important, that's a total different mantra. And the mantra is innovation push. Total different than do that what you experienced in the on-premise. And there's also a difference to private cloud. And let me focus on that one a little bit. When we think about Grow with SAP, it's a ready-to-run solution, which means it runs from that perspective that we do an innovation push. That's a public cloud SaaS solution, which comes with a continuous deployment of the newest innovation. Not daily, but it pushes the innovation. It pushes it because they are digestible, small, you can adopt them, and you're totally tested, totally to the end. It comes with the lowest possible cost of ownership in the end. And yes, the rich partner network to implement it. If we go to the operation side, the consequences, it comes with the faster time to value, no doubt. Because it is highly standardized, which means that also the extensibility is done in a controlled way, not to the full extension. In a controlled way to keep you always on a clean core. Grow is always, per definition, clean. When we go to the consumption, then it's ready to consume because it's highly standardized processes. And it comes with the innovation push in a digestible way. And with that, only low-code extensions, pre-described for scenarios, for all the scenarios you need typically, but in a very controllable way. And when we go to the cost of ownership side, it's fully based on best practices, and with that, to the lowest cost of ownership. That is the mantra of a public cloud SaaS service. That is not the mantra of the next solution on RISE. But before we go there, that's where we started, and where Michael Klöffer told you, yes, we go first, we went out first with SAP Cloud ALM for cloud-centric solutions. So when we looked there, with Grow with SAP, with all the mantra that we did that for the industry best practices, with your own breakouts, when you grow with without the limits, and when you go live with confidence, that was all supported by the standard processes of Cloud ALM, which we shipped you already in the years 2020, 2021, 22, 23. Which means, yes, it was adopt the latest innovations with the innovation, with the implementation solution. Yes, it was keep the business running with all the operation solution presented by Janko. And what we do not focus today on optimizing the SAP services, which we did all the updates already last year on the topics where you optimize all the services internally. That is what we do on the public cloud solution since 2 years. It's out, it's running, you consume it. If we go to RISE with SAP, the mantra is changing. Because RISE with SAP is a tailored to fit solution, which means that tailored to fit comes with services. And it comes with the mantra of an innovation pull, not with an innovation push. It comes with the fact that you want to adopt to your needs, to your agility, and to your speed as a customer. That is what is the request from the customers in the private cloud. And this demand you have to fulfill. Consequently, it's a controllable cost of ownership. Yes, we have also a huge partner network out of history already with all the big players in that world. And the operations comes with a cloud speed. That is our promise, while maintaining the customer security on their level, what they want, and their compliance. Different mantra. That maximizing the operational efficiency, no doubt, but it also protects existing investments, because you can have brownfield implementations, you can even take your systems up into RISE. And it comes with extending the existing investments with full extensibility. And with that, with a high demand on managing your clean core principles. There we have to support massively. In a total different massive way than we did for Grow. So you see the consequence in all our investments to clean core in Cloud ALM comes exactly out of that demand. And when you do see the continuous innovation, and we'll come to that a little bit even more, then it's again a question on the innovation pull. What do I pull into my solution? And that I can extend to full extensibility. So the management of all my continuous innovation is one of the critical paths. We saw one of the very nice demos on the testing, and we'll come back to that as well. And the migration, that's something where SAP can massively support with their migration factory, with all our migration services, and that reduces your cost of ownership, gives you a predictable view to it, and in the end, we come with a full own methodology, with right with SAP methodology. Two different mantras. The old mantra we give up, never change a running machine is not an alternative. The new mantra on daily, on public cloud, on innovation push, and the new mantra on an innovation pull in the cloud with RISE with SAP. Consequently, and that was what was already presented, we do a full RISE methodology implemented in Cloud ALM. It's very important that we have to come with a full new methodology for RISE. Because yes, we have to onboard the RISE methodology, we have to get the clean core success map, the roadmap, the plan, the technical evaluation of your system, and all the KPIs with sorting on the priorities, and get your plan together, that you have a plan to run for execution on clean core. We implement the Q-Gate management. Why? With a partner, with a selected RISE partner, and a successful Q-Gate, the RISE sales at SAP even commits you reimbursements via BTP credits. So do it on a clean core way, even has a major advantage for the customers, also from a sales cycle. And yes, we give you clean core reports, tracking, full project lists, and the full way to path to go to clean core with this methodology. Now you think, okay, that's all a topic on the initial step of the implementation. And here I would like to take you one step further. And would like to introduce you to a methodology which we now drive out of the initiative at SAP. Because you have seen that Mark was very much focusing on the integration of all these tools. And we explained you already a lot of this integration. And at SAP, we drive it one step further. We integrate those tools at the very first touch point with our customers, in pre-sales and in the sales. We have changed the engagement model, how we engage with our customers on the sales side, which means we bring in LeanIX and Signavio already in the first step of our engagement with the customer. And with that, as soon as we have signed the contracts and when we onboard the customers and when we are at this nice wheel at 6 o'clock, the journey starts. We have all the data, we have the processes, and we have in LeanIX the enterprise architecture, we have in Signavio the processes which are selected by the customers. And yes, we would like to guide the customer on configuration and master data. And yes, due to this great community and this great team, we have a Cloud ALM solution which runs from implementation to operations into service, all features already at more than 7,000 customers. Nice. But now there comes the important topic. This is activate the customer. And you have heard all the methodologies from our past, which means SAP activate, get the customer live. You don't forget my initial sentence in the on-premise world, get it live and never change the running system. That is over. Where we go now is to close that loop. Now we have the tools to get in process mining in Signavio the next step, that we see what can be improved, that we see what additional solutions do we have available on BTP. What do we need to click on and want to activate because we have additional solutions, and what we kind of additional partner solutions need to be implemented, where the customer needs to complement the solution, and where we need to improve and adopt the solution. And with that, you get a glimpse why we could probably call that wheel internally a washing machine. We want to get this washing machine running at 1,400 routes per minute. We want to get it fast. We want to get it automated. And that's the real challenge. because to get it fast innovating, fast adopting innovations is the real challenge in the private cloud. In the public cloud, when you go back now again to Cloud ALM with daily deployments, what do? I do a complete different mantra how we develop and how we do testing, and I run all my end-to-end tests every half hour, 7 times 24. We come to that in my second part of the presentation where I do a deep dive on that one. But it's clear, we have principal concept we have to repeat now in some or the other way also in the private cloud. We have to take every piece and bit and piece out of the customer's burden and automate the topics. That is the reason why we drive the full integration of that tool chain, because the customer likes the tools, not because he has 10 fingers and can maintain all the data in this tool. That's not what he wants. He wants the analytic sides and the automatic results and the process mining and the enterprise architecture mining out of it. Get the proposals what he can do better. It's not the maintaining of the data. They should be there, they should be integrated, and they should be available in each and every of the steps, automatically. And there's something which we have seen in the other presentation, and we'll come to that a little bit more. 30 to 50%, I think it was mentioned by Patrick Fiegel from Tricentis, 30 to 50% of the efforts of each and every of these cycles go into regression testing. The word which is hated by every CFO, because it means money, 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 for nothing. And that we have to overcome, which means that we complement this solution with you guys. That is my call for action for you. Yes, we do it, and you have seen a great presentation here on Tricentis and the automation of testing. And yes, we will close that loop not only between the tools as you have seen it now from Conigma Connect. We will even close that loop one step further into the standard development, into the way to read out of screen definitions the changes which we have done for these solutions, even based on the configured screens at the customer, even if they are modified. So this is where we close that loop, and we will make that solution even more sexy and more automated. And that you can press the button and everything is automated on that chain. That is the goal, and with that we drive then innovation faster. Very quick, within the first quarter, I got asked to run that initiative in May. Within the first quarter, and it was already presented, we did the landscape discovery integration into all the tools. All the tools read now the same data. We did the project sync for Cloud ALM and the LeanIX and Signavio. We did the complete integration to Signavio, all the 3 topics you have seen. That's were the results out of all this chain in the second quarter after we announced it at Sapphire on the big stage. Rise with SAP is this step for SAP Cloud ALM now to really deal with all the big customers. I will come in my second part on scalability. Stay tuned. Before we go there, we make a deep dive on that what we do for Rise with SAP. And I ask 3 of my colleagues here on stage with Chris, Preeti, and Jörg. Please come on stage. Chris is our Chief Product Expert for Cloud ERP. Preeti is our Product Manager for the Project and Task Management for RISE. And as I'm an old man, I have still to read it. Jörg is our Product Manager for RISE with SAP Methodology Dashboard. Have fun. Chris, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Wieland. So let's spend some time talking about the importance of Clean Core in the context of RISE with our RISE with SAP methodology and powered by Cloud ALM. For several years now, SAP has been advocating that customers leverage their transformation to not only move their platform, but leverage it to increase the performance of their processes, to standardize where they can their historical developments, and to optimize their operational and maintenance processes. We drive this message because we truly believe that continuous innovation starts with simplification. If you take the common traditional approach, a customer would upgrade maybe every 5 years or so. And one of the obstacles for them upgrading is the complexity that comes along with that and the long timelines. So the reason behind some of that complexity, we put in the bucket of technical debt. And by technical debt, what we mean is modifications to the system, non-standard integrations, and large data volumes and maybe challenges with data quality. So if you fast forward to a customer who maybe has already transitioned to the cloud, maybe they run with a faster cycle, if they haven't cleaned up their core, they still have the same level of technical debt as the other customers. So if we fast forward to where we actually want to get to, which is where customers are able to achieve some of those faster cycles that Wieland was talking about, we want customers to be able to upgrade to the new release every year. And in the case of our customer Hitachi, they've achieved this with annual upgrades and able to reduce their complexity by designing a clean core when they re-implemented their solution. And they actually are able to turn around and upgrade in a cycle of maybe 30 to 40 days every year. The net of this is that customers that drive a clean core are able to realize continuous adoption benefits 75% faster than those who are following the traditional 5-year cycle. So let's talk about what is clean core in principle. So first of all, it's a modern approach for designing your processes, your next level generation of extensions, integration scenarios, and your robust data architecture. It also requires a strong mindset and governance, meaning that you need sponsorship from your leadership to be able to mandate that the solution is kept in a way that enables that innovation mindset within your organizations. Let me say what clean core is not. It's not an insistence that you follow standard processes, and it is not a prevention for extending the solution. In fact, we would say that the opposite is true in that every clean core project should really start by taking an inventory of those processes that you're using that really differentiate you as a company, and those which are more commodity-based processes which every customer has. For the ones which are truly differentiating, that's where you want to focus your extensions, you want to focus your differentiation. For everything else, you want to try and be as standard as possible and as automated as possible. Clean core comprises of 5 different five different qualities. Processes, extensibility, data, integrations, and operations. We already touched upon the processes and extensibility. When it comes to data, it's about managing a lean data footprint in your solution. It means that archiving is now and continues to be as relevant as it always has been. It means that you need to have certain checks in place to make sure that your data quality is consistent and that you have remediation actions where it's not. When it comes to integration, it means using modern integration techniques, definitely supported by BTP. And again, having monitoring to make sure that the flows of data between your systems to your ERP and within the modules is flowing as needed. And then in terms of the operations, we would advocate that you modernize your operations. Obviously, when we talk about yearly upgrade cycles, you need to put certain processes in place that you can be able to support that. It means having effective monitoring so that you can maximize productivity and minimize downtimes. So SAP in this year, we launched the SAP with RISE the RISE with SAP methodology. Now let's just talk a little bit about what SAP RISE with SAP methodology is. So as explained by Wieland, it's a standardized framework for all customers, and this framework follows the customers throughout their life cycle, from onboarding throughout into the run phase. It's deployed technically via the end-to-end processes within SAP within Cloud ALM, where we augment all the content, the accelerators. It has a defined set of activities, as well as those queue gates, again, that Wieland was describing, where we have defined checkpoints at milestones, which through SAP, we guide you through the checks to make sure that your clean core principles are being followed. We also, as mentioned, we leverage the best practice tool sets. So as well as Cloud ALM, we have LeanIX, which helps drive the architectural transformation. Signavio, that helps you define the business process transformation. And again, all supported by BTP for your next in-class build processes around extensibility and integration. We've also extended our partner validation program, so we also need to make sure that through our partnerships, we are following the same message and same guidance with our customers. So we go through a validation program where we validated a set of 8, and we're increasing that to around 21 of our core strategic partners, as well as certifications for our main partner group, meaning that we're checking to make sure that they're following the same processes and they're helping to drive customers with the clean core principles throughout their projects. So with that, I'd like to pass over to Preeti, who's going to show us how the processes are deployed within Cloud ALM.
Thank you very much, Chris, for a great introduction about the RISE with SAP methodology and the significance of clean core. We just heard how RISE with SAP methodology provides us a structured framework to support our customers' move to Cloud ERP. It provides us guidance and guardrails in the form of content, expertise, toolchain support, and services. And SAP Cloud ALM plays a key role in acting as the digital backbone in supporting you with the execution of the methodology. Our journey starts with onboarding to Cloud ALM with a project using a clean core success plan roadmap provided by the Activate methodology. It is a dedicated roadmap that consists of all the clean core activities that you need to perform along each phase of your implementation project. These tasks are easily brought into the project, and you can manage the deliverables and the tasks within your project. With the recent automation that we have delivered, you not only get the tasks, but also the clean core quality gates, which are defined as the critical milestone by the methodology. These quality gates help you make sure that the key deliverables at the end of every phase are complete and adhere to the quality standards. The quality gate is also fully loaded with accelerators in the form of questionnaire, which help you evaluate where you stand with these different different deliverables along each principle of the clean core. What you're also entitled to as part of the methodology is a service assessment for every Q gate that you complete. Every completed Q gate is submitted to SAP. It is evaluated by the SAP experts, and the results are shared with you, which is accessible in your own Cloud ALM tenant. So this is where you see in the service applications, you get access to the final report of the assessment of your own quality gate. And this report consists of the detailed analysis of the different checks that are performed, together with the key findings, and an action plan that consists of recommendations on how you can improve further. These recommendations are easily brought in to your project as follow-up tasks and can be managed as any regular tasks in your project. What we have also delivered very, very recently, like last week, Quality Gate Report. This gives you an overview of all the quality gates along all phases, the status of these quality gates, the completion percentage, and the status of the tasks that are associated with your quality gates. So these are some of the features that we built and delivered to support the RISE methodology. But that's not all. Cloud ALM also supports orchestration of clean core with a large number of features that is already existing. With regards to process, we offer best practice content that can be easily leveraged in your fit to standard workshops to gather requirements and can be brought into your projects. To ensure business continuity with regards to process, you can leverage business process monitoring features. For extensibility, you can build, test, and deploy both ABAP as well as BTP extensions, and you can monitor these extensions. You can monitor the financial data quality with regards to data, and for integration, we offer the possibility to document your interfaces as well as monitor the interfaces and exceptions. Lastly, for operations, there is a full stack monitoring capability that is available, which you can leverage to ensure your business continuity once you have your solution live. Over the course of next 3 days, you will learn a lot more about all these features from our various experts. So now I will hand over to Jörg, who's going to introduce you to our brand new SAP Rise with SAP Methodology dashboard. I hope that's the final name still, which is going to help you measure your clean core adherence. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Priti. So the name is right now the Rise with SAP Methodology dashboard. Some people will also name it Clean Core dashboard. At the end, I would like to give you now an outlook what you can expect over the next months and also years, what we want to develop. So the overall goal is that we at the end have to explain it, maybe Clean Core pyramid or Rise with SAP pyramid. So really a dashboard that is also serving different personas in an organization, starting with the executive who gets a summary of the Rise with SAP contract, but also a summary on the different clean core dimensions that Priti also talked about. But then also that an architect is then jumping into the details of the various processes that are in place. So one defined goal is that we map the different data information that we have, that we map this to processes to make it also understandable. So not just the information you have there, custom code objects, but that we also give you the information where in your process are you using these custom code objects. So that will be important for us. And then also offering deep dive dashboards for various topics like security, like operations, like data, like extensibility. And all this will be done based on a central data platform. And why I want to emphasize this central data platform is this data platform that we are currently building already gives us the possibility to offer peer group comparison, so that you also know then compared to your peer group, like in your region or like in your industry, how good or how bad are you compared to these other companies. So here it's directly starting also with the first video. I've also just limited time here on stage before Wieland is again taking over. Starting with the executive overview, where you can see then how quick were your last upgrades also compared to a peer group. Then with regards to the Clean Core Success Plan, which quality gates are in place, what's the status of these quality gates, what's the reason why a certain quality gate maybe is not accepted, like in that case, because the interface information are not available. That is something where an executive is interested in, or here AI use cases that we have inside SAP S4, so that you see then which AI use cases are you using, but which AI use cases is also are your competitors using, and which monetary impact or monetary benefits this has. And let's jumping back to the executive overview. There are also the collaboration with our tool chain with SAP LeanIX, that we have the information whether the strategic business goals are also covered by business capabilities. That is something that we want to show. And maybe with that finishing also then the executive part is we have here information about processes which are not running well, a lot of custom code clusters that are in place there, that you also set the right priorities so that someone is analyzing why this is not behaving as it should be. And then just trigger then the architect part. I will not let this video completely run due to time constraints. But here we would really like to start a deep dive into the processes. You will see then we have their custom-built interfaces that have too many errors. We would like then to offer their information about the alerts that are existing there, maybe also the emergency share, which means how much effort you need to spend to keep this custom-built interface in place. And then jumping directly to LeanIX to get more information about the architecture, and then also starting Joule, giving you some more information about which other interfaces have issues and so on. So all this is planned, as said, for the upcoming months and years, not weeks, but months and years. Tomorrow I have a session with Pretty at 10 a.m. where we also make a more deep dive into that one. But I will also show you tomorrow what you can expect until the end of the year, because this is really now an outlook for 2025 and 2026. But tomorrow you will get insights what you can expect until the end of the year. And with that, I would then ask Wieland again on stage, and he will then continue. Thank you.
Thank you. That's good. Thank you. Thank you to all my three colleagues. I think what we have shown you is what we do now for this innovation pulse scenario of a private cloud. Yeah? So why is this so important? Because it's clear it's a very complex environment, needs a lot of governance and a lot of tooling, but it has to be a cloud solution, which means that we get innovation speed up and running. Only then the customer will perceive it as a cloud solution and not as a hosting. So we are flying pretty high. Now let's go a little bit into the engineering. So what is the real challenge when you want to be on stage and would like to say after some years, okay, it's not 7,156 as your boss said in the morning, that you say now at the afternoon after lunch, it's 7,162 customers, and you had nothing to do for that, nothing. Yeah? It was just customers who press the button and go. But that's also an interesting topic, because we speak about scalability. We speak about something which is probably the most challenging topic when you speak about a public cloud SaaS service in mass adoption. When I was asked in 2020, we built that new solution, I had three questions. First, how big will be the solution? And the key architect, I think the chief architect is even in the room above here, they told me roughly, Wieland, about 50, 60 microservices we build our own, and probably 30, 40 we will adopt from BTP. Yes, as a manager, you multiply that by 2. Let's see whether it's good or not in a second. If they tell you, okay, the second, how many customers do we will serve? Wieland, we have roughly 50,000 support contracts out. So as a good manager, what do? You multiply it by 2. So we entitle in the meantime a little bit more than 118,000 tenants to use Cloud ALM. So that is the ultimate goal where we want to go, roughly. And then the third question is it a mission-critical solution? It's not allowed to go 1 second down. No, it can be some seconds down, but take care, it's operations. So if the operations goes down, it's like an airplane, and all instruments are not working, plane is still flying. Not the best feeling. So yes, it has to really be a good solution working. So when we speak about SAP LM, then we speak about a massive global adoption. We speak about, in the meantime, 6 data centers. Canada, you have to add here on the list. We speak about adoption as it should be. Left curve, left wing. So that is what is going on. Mark said 1,000 customers per quarter. I have to tell you, that is not a stable figure. This figure goes permanently up. And now you get the idea of scaling. Yeah? That is the problem when we speak about a cloud solution which is free for adoption for customers, just to go and adopt these figures every quarter anew. Which means Yes, we are at the moment, as I said, 7,161. We are having more than 30,000 logged on users. Yes, we have millions of clicks of the application. I was too fast. I can go back if you want to make the photo. Sorry for that one. Fine for that. And yes, where we are, that means this solution is built as a cloud-native stack. You don't need to take care. But what we want to make clear is everything in that stack fulfills now that what we will speak about in a few seconds. When I speak about feature toggles in a few seconds, everything what you see on that screen can be toggled. Not just the screen. We toggle down to the database. That means if we activate a feature, we activate it not only on the screen, we activate it down to the database. Very important from a data migration perspective. And we run it typically on AWS. We run also some customers which request it on Microsoft Azure. Yes, factor 2, you don't forget, we are at the moment at 151 microservices. We have done 668 in the meantime, 1,000 deployments, which means if you deploy every microservice every day, which means we deploy 4 days a week, Monday to Thursday. We don't do it on Friday, just because we want to have our weekend. We don't need to. And yes, we would like to have the coding weekend for our developers who do something larger. That's typically what they do on Friday. It's some seconds ago, some minutes ago, the slide was made in the morning. That's what we typically do. Then 75 seconds ago was the last deployment. Yes, in the morning, we also had a sunny day. A sunny day, we call a day where we just get the message from the system, ready to deploy, press the button, and we run it to 6 data centers in the world, plus 2 canary landscapes internally. Feature release, roughly 1,900 in the moment, roughly 1,000 customer deliveries we're hitting now. That's where we are at the moment, and this is what we scale to. How can we do that? This is not the on-premise world. We, Mark and myself, we started 30 years ago in this on-premise world, but now we want to do it right. We want to do it this way, which means a cloud engineering process. When we get a custom requirement, we break it down to features. Our product owners are feature owners. They define a feature toggle and define what is behind that feature toggle for the development. They define the definitions of done criteria. When is the topic done? End-to-end done. And then they give us to coding. Development happens behind that release toggle. This feature toggle is the only toggle which decides whether the feature is live or not. And yes, we do single trunk development. We do not split the code line of Cloud ALM for 1 second. There is no branch out for maintenance and we deliver it to you and we do that on that because we do some days maintenance. No, if there comes an error, we put it into the coding, into the standard coding and ship you the coding. We can deploy within half an hour. That is this little time which I was speaking about where if a really critical error comes, we probably need. But half an hour we can deploy, that's what we can do technically. The build is clear. We have to have a fast pipeline because we want to ship within half an hour. So everything we put, every topic, product standards, we digitized everything. And the guys who have developed knows what we speak about. 267 product standard requirements topics. We digitized all of them into the pipeline. And with that, we have everything in and can build the coding every time, which means we also run a fully end-to-end test battery. The screen which you see below is a little bit deeper. It's only the first lines. Yeah? And it shows you each and every test case which runs every half an hour, 7 times 24. The only who claims is the guy who pays my power bill. That's the only. Our CPUs are a little bit warmer than the other CPUs, that's all. So that's what we do to have every custom feature every time checked. And whenever a developer checks something in new, you get a new version, it gets into the testing. If it's good, it's accepted, it's in mainline, and it would get shipped with the next version. Deploying doesn't mean releasing. That's not what it is. Deploying means we deploy code, which is totally fine, which runs through our tests, but it's not releasing features. Releasing features is, remember, when the definitions of the criteria for done are done, and we can activate the feature toggle. That is when we release features. That is how the process works and how we release features. In the past, we did it all 14 days. We wanted to train a little bit. Now we leave it just to each and every group to say, yes, we are done, and then they can lift the feature toggle. So we are even not saying that this has to be done every 14 days. Many people do it still all 14 days because they want to collect it, but we leave it to the teams how they want to do it because we are good enough in that. Clear? It has to come with zero downtime, fully zero downtime, which means, and I go back to that one, full zero downtime means when you run the screen, we have deployed underneath, you still have your screen. You still can store on that screen. If you would launch a second screen on the same transaction, you would see here the old feature, here the new, if you have activated something, and you can store on both screens. That is what zero downtime. No disruption for the end user. Nothing. And yes, we completely have automated our operations as well. In our own dog food. Yes, for ultra-large implementation, what do we recommend? To run, focused run. That was monitoring Cloud ALM, which is natural. Never run and automate your runs and monitoring with the same tool then you monitor. That's an old rule in the IT. So we are monitoring it with the focused run. What I wanted to do with that is this is a really daily process. Each and every team can completely work autonomously on all the microservices we do, completely independently. By the way, for those who do it themselves, when we're in the middle of the change process of this development process, we had also a people survey, just by accident. Yeah? Sometimes it happens that when you're middle in a transformation, you get also a people survey. That is when the time when the manager thinks, hopefully this goes over without a big damage. We went up by 6%. That's an internal number. We went up by 6%. People did know we do the right thing. So, why do I say that? Because I think it's really important that you understand that we run a pure cloud-native product for you with the highest quality you can think. Now we can scale. And scale is a real topic. We have not only the number of data centers. That is one dimension. We have not only the number of tenants, which are the customers, and the API calls. That is independent of that. Yeah? If partner solutions come in with calling APIs and all that, massively, it's another dimension to scale. And it's not only the storage. It is also the topic on the automated provisioning. That's what I was speaking about, these customers which I don't care because they press the button, 15 minutes later they have the solution. That's totally automated. No one touches that in SAP. Auto-scaling means whatever we use, we can scale. Based on a microservice architecture, normally that's what you understand. And yes, we have a completely simplified connectivity setup. For those who run large solution manager landscapes, think about if you would run 7,160 of those. That's what we do. With all cloud solutions in the backend, and yes, we do completely automation on all the connectivity there. And it has to be simple for the users. I don't want to be called for each and every new feature. I have a full automation from all the web assistants, all the videos, all that gets automatically done. Every release feature, that's part of the definition of done. So it has to come with a very high quality. Very internal figure here. We have one incoming question per customer, per. Last year I told you per year. I have to disappoint you per 2 years now. This is the quality we run. And only then you can scale. The number of microservices I told you, we have a rapid expansion on that. Yes, the solution is growing feature-wise. Now with RISE, we got an additional wave on it. And yes, we have to support continuous improvement and continuous innovation. Our engineering teams are happy with this kind of approach because they are totally self-reliant. They can work on themselves. And clear, we have a daily mindset. That is a change. And that is the most massive change we had to do from a transformation perspective. Feature-wise, we do rapid feature development. I think the colleague was laughing when the colleague said that we have now just delivered that feature last week. That's what we do. We just deliver whenever we want features. And if it's nice, then we just deliver it a week before we're here on stage, and we can say that we delivered. Every feature is based on an epic, which means it's user-centric, it starts with the UI, and that's where we start always the description from the product owner. And yes, we have a very robust quality ensuring, fully automated. That's what is a cloud scale readiness solution, and that's the reason why we can serve you and why we are proud, that we are happy, that we can serve you, also that we can serve factor 10 of the customers, and that's what we have internally, and run a project X for factor 10, because that's where we want to go. Now it comes some very important topic for you. Yes, we run a secure cloud, and that's what we have to do. Yeah? We have to run full development and product security. In each and every pipeline request, we run our full security tests. And we do even more, I will tell you, which means we do all our security scans, we do all the threat modeling, we do regular security validations, we do all the product standards automated in the pipelines, and we are fully certified according to the ISO standards. On the product security side, we run all the product standards, all the connections are encrypted, we have a high secure environment. And then there comes a very important topic, because that's about trust. We separate your data. We have very early decided, even that it's probably not the ultra cost optimized solution, we did it for you. We said we run each and every customer in an own schema. We are by far the largest consumers of HANA schemas at SAP, by far, no doubt. That's what is the matter of fact. And when we speak with HANA, how to upgrade HANA schemas, we are in the millions of database migrations, in the 10 millions per data migration per year. Fully automated, fully robust. Also congratulations to my HANA colleagues, which are running on that journey. You saw that EU access and other topics we were speaking to that. That's not something which is now at the part here on that slide. What I want to do is, at the very end, you can even measure that, what we do. And I just activate the full slide. Because there is a DevOps research and assessment out, which is out for some years. It was founded independently and then was taken over by Google, it's DORA. And you can go to the internet and measure your own application, where you are. Not claiming 10, that is the numbers we have. That is what we reach. You can do by yourself, your applications. We are in a change lead time of less than 1 day. More we didn't commit in that survey. We do a deployment frequency of less than 1 day. That's, by the way, the lowest number which you can enter into that research. The time to restore is less than 1 hour, and the change of failure rate is 0 to 15%. That's the lowest number you can maintain on that survey. With that, we reach basically those numbers. And with that, we show that we have, even on a DORA, on a public cloud KPIs, we're reaching the ultimate numbers which we need to reach. We need to, because we want to reach 100,000 tenants. With that, it would be the by far most deployed application at SAP. What do you get? You get a high quality product with the minimal TCO for you. What do you get? Continuous innovation on the highest speed you can get it daily. What do you get? Is it scalable with your business? If you need more tenants, if you need larger tenants, we do that as well. So we scale with your business. We are highly secure. We have fulfill all the data privacy rules which you need. And yes, we have the data centers close to you across the globe. Available at Canada. Yeah, Canada is added. Thank you to my team here internally in the background. Thank you. You added that to the list. So the list is complete with 6 data centers. We run internally 2 canary landscapes, 1 for the BTP and 1, as you can imagine, already for the controlled clouds, for the sovereign clouds, where we do the research already with these teams. So we deploy into 8 data centers in the world at the moment. What I wanted to do is I show you this is where we are, SAP Cloud ALM, and let's meet us next year and see how deep we are in the 5 digits. Thank you very much.